Chris, over here. It was obviously an emotional win. Was there ever a point in your career when you would consider giving up, when you were so down, so out, that you weren't sure if you were going to fish that month or the next year?
You know, there were times of that. A good friend of mine, Terry Seagraves, told me one time, he lived down there in Florida, and he was fishing the Elite Series then, and I took my family on the road, and you know, the first year was okay, the second year was pretty good, and then the last 3 years were, you know, down in the dumps. And he said, you'll hit a point in your life that, you know, you don't know whether you're going to stay out there, you know, it's going to be a hard road. And I never thought there would be, but at that point, you know, there was that hard road, and I kept going back to, you know, what are we going to do? And there was a group of guys that came on board as a sponsor, you know, Powerful. And they came into the bass fishing industry, and me and Bobby, you know, started running motor boats with some other anglers, and then there was a bunch more, and then there was a bunch more, and they absolutely stormed the bass fishing world. They have changed the way bass fishing is. And without that group of guys, without their support throughout the last 3 tough years that I've had, you know, I wouldn't be standing here today. It takes a team effort, and, you know, I got everybody on my shirt that, and family, they're all a major part of that. But, you know, Powerful is my title sponsor, and, you know, I can't say enough about those guys.
Bobby, everybody says this is a life-changing event. How is it going to change your life? Have you had a chance to think about that yet?
I haven't had a chance to think about that. It is a goal that I have set out for. Probably in the last year, it became a reality that I might have a shot to win this thing. You know, 3 years ago, it was just a goal, and it became a reality probably a year and a half ago, I guess, when I started, you know, really being confident in myself and doing what I needed to do. Life-changing experience, you know, absolutely. You know, financially it's a shot in the arm, but who I am, who the Lane family is, it's not going to change. We're going to stay true to who we are, absolutely.
Chris, it looked like Kevin said something to you when he handed you the trophy. I don't know if you want to share it or not, but it looked like you registered it. I don't know, maybe the emotion was so high you didn't quite hear it, but did he say something to you when he handed you the trophy?
You know, I think he might have said, I really think he said, I'm proud of you. You know, and the one thing that coming into this event, and to win a Bassmaster Classic, whether it's now or 10 years from now, whenever it was, there was one person out of the whole entire world that I wanted to hand that trophy to, and that was Kevin Van Dam, because he is the best in the world, hands down, and still is. But you know what? We're excited to be here and, you know, enjoy this moment, because I know he's coming, and so are a lot more others, including my brother.
Chris, you told me on Wednesday afternoon that you had confidence for this event just because of where you were, where your confidence was at this level for every event. Did you really believe on that day that you were on the fish to win this tournament?
I didn't believe that I was on the fish to win this tournament. I believed 100% that I was on a pattern and on a game plan to win this. And after I saw what happened the first day, I knew that my game plan was going to fall in place, and if it was going to work out, then, you know, I had a shot at winning this.
Chris, have you had a chance yet to think about the $500,000, what's something you might do real early with your family, spending some of that money to have a good time?
Well, no, I haven't really thought about that. I know we're going to have a good time. You know, I will tell you that the first thing that we're going to do is, oh yeah, I got to pay Bobby's entry fees. You know, we always have a side bit. I knew he wasn't going to let me forget that. But
I told him I bumped it up to a nice round number last night.
Yeah, he called me this morning and he says, hey, why don't we just make that an even, you know, 50,000? I said, you know, Bobby, we used to bet for like 50 bucks, $5, and, you know, as we started fishing, it got smaller. We didn't even bet anymore, but there's always been a side bet with me and Bobby, and, you know, I am so honored to be able to pay, you know, him $50,000. I'm telling you that right now.
Bobby, even earlier in the week, you talked about your game plan, A, B, and C part. Outline it briefly.
You know, you did just call me Bobby, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, there's something to that because I got a question today. Some guys were asking me something and we were doing an interview and I told him, I said, you know what, even if I was to win the Bassmaster Classic, somebody's still going to call me Bobby and somebody's still going to call him Chris.
I'm going to tell you,
I love you, man, you're great.
it's kind of an inside thing, but Julie and Sam said to do that. Julie and Sam said to do that.
Sorry, what's the question? It's okay, go ahead.
What's the question?
What's the question?
Plan A, Plan B, Plan C.
Oh, yes, sir. Plan A was to, and I'm glad I get to tell this story now. Plan A was to go into I was boat number 9 going into this thing, and I had a spot down south that I really wanted to go to that I knew held quality fish, and I had a spot up here that I knew held quality fish too. Being boat 9, you know, I was going to go down south, and you know, I got a coach, and his name's Rick Modern. He's my brother-in-law. He's the same age, a little younger than me and Bobby. He's a friend of ours for a long time, and you know, he's like, look, man, he says, what are you thinking? This is the Bassmaster Classic. How in the world are you going to go down there in the locks and sit for 45 minutes being boat 9 and not get antsy? And I said, you know, you're right. Yeah, I don't. And then there was a pond right there across from the boat ramp that I wanted to get into, and if nobody went in there, I was going to go in there, and if somebody went in there, then I was going to go to the lock. So I put all these scenarios in my head and put them with Plan A, B, and C. And Plan A was to go in there. If somebody didn't go in there, nobody went in there, I went in there and caught, you know, a good bag. Plan B was to totally just disregard that. Boat 49 or boat 40 going out the second day. There was 6 boats trying to get in there the first day, so I knew darn well that there weren't the fish in there to win that thing with the 6 boats being in there prior to me getting in there. So as I ran down river the second morning, I looked over there. As tempting as it was, I saw 3 boats headed right into there blowing mud, and I said, well, I'm not going in there, and I stuck with my game plan. Plan C was to put Plan A and B together, and I figured out Plan C. I figured out Plan C yesterday at about 2:30 after I caught a 6-pounder, almost 6 pounds, in an area that I knew it didn't hold a lot of fish, but if I caught one in there, it was a good one. I caught a 4-pounder in there the first day, and I caught a 6-pounder in there the second day. I didn't even flip in there anymore. What I did is I came out and I'm running up the river, and I said, here's your scenario. You know, you run down south first thing in the morning. You know, you catch what you know, my plan was to go down there and catch 15 pounds. And at 11 o'clock, I don't even think I got a fish. And I had some other water I was going to go run, and right before I leave, you know, the start spinning in your head, the wheels are coming off, you know, guys are in there catching them around me. I throw out there and I catch one. It was about 2 pounds, and I said, well, I'm going to make one more pass, and then I'm going to go out because I didn't have another bite, and then I caught that 6'11". I said, oh, Lord, here we go. And I knew right then that it was go time. They were starting to bite, and they don't bite for very long in there. It's just a minute. And by 11:30, and I was wanting to leave between 11:30 and 12 o'clock. At 11:30, I had a limit, and I couldn't believe it. I probably had about 13 pounds at that moment. And I said, all right, it's go time, you know. I mean, get out of here and stick with your game plan. Ran all the way back up through the locks. Went to my second, or to the area I wanted to spend a little time in because you have to take some time getting in there. And when I got in there, I had a pound fish that I wanted to get out there. He was just 12 and a half, maybe 13 inches. And I knew that this tournament would come down to ounces. I went in there and I caught a 2-pounder, called him out, and then I caught a 2 1/4 and pulled that one out. And my day was over. And I mean, for those plans to come together like that, it's just a true blessing.
Will you just take us through when you got the trophy? Most people just immediately hold it up and you knelt down. Will you talk just a little bit about that for us?
Sorry, I couldn't hear all.
When you got the trophy, you knelt down, and will you take us through that and what that means and what it means to you?
Yeah. All good things are sent from above. And I look to the heavens 100% because, you know, you do this sport and you go through so much, but ultimately when it comes down to it, you know, you go through so much emotion, so much money, spending it on expenses and trying to make it work, trying to make things happen, and I know the good Lord just was over me every single day from hitting the lock. I'm telling you, I come out of this spot first thing this morning, and I hit a stump so hard, wide open. How it didn't rip my lower unit off, I have no idea, and I still got 45 miles to run. So I'm thinking, oh Lord, here we go. And I run all the way down there and all the way back, and I run a Legend boat with a Mercury motor, and I ran 67 miles an hour down there, looking at my Lowrance GPS. That's going downstream. I'm running back. I'm running 68.7, and I can't figure this out. I mean, my boat's running better than it has all week long, and it's just like you just feel this sense about you that, you know, everything's working, man. I mean, everything is working, and my camera guy tried to tell me, well, the wind, you know, we got a tailwind. I said, yeah, but I'm going in like 10 mile an hour current. There's no way I can be going faster. So it's just an amazing feeling.
Chris, when over to your left, when kids go to baseball camps or football camps, they dream of playing shortstop for the Yankees or, you know, playing wide receiver for their favorite NFL team. When you and your brother went to the man's fishing camp as kids, what did you dream of?
Well, you know, we dreamed of winning the Bassmaster Classic. We dreamed of fishing for a living, you know, doing what both of us have been instilled in us, a passion that burns for this sport like no other. And we actually are running a camp in Guntersville, Alabama this year. This will be the 4th year. It's called Fishing or Reeling in Future Pros. And I, you know, kind of planned that. I know Bobby runs one down in Lakeland. We kind of planned that around Tom Mann Fish Camp when he did that for us, because it meant so much to us to go home with vans full of, you know, my dad would have a van, and me, Arnie, and Bobby would go out there, and I, you know, it was like first in the BB gun shooting contest, and then second in the fishing contest, and third in the casting contest, and you know, all 3 of us would be somewhere right in there, and we would just go home with loads of stuff, and I thought, how cool was that? And now it's our job and our responsibility to turn around and give that back to the kids now.
Chris, over here to your left. You got a win earlier this year at the first Southern Open, which qualified you for the 2013 Classic. You've won the Bassmaster Classic. You're already double qualified. Can you talk a little bit about how instrumental that win was in giving you the confidence this week? And also, can you talk a little bit about the techniques and the baits you were using to catch your fish this week?
Absolutely. The win down there on the Harris Chain of Lakes was instrumental to me, because I had a 5-pound lead going into Clarks Hill in an Elite Series event that, you know, $100,000 would have changed my life then. And, you know, I wasn't ready to win $100,000, you know, and to lose a 5-pound lead, it got me. And I had a monkey on my back. And I think I had like a 4-pound lead or something going into that event, whatever it was. And I went out with a sheer passion of, I'm ready to just go smash this thing. You know, I want to blow it out of the water. And to catch 28 pounds that last day kind of gave me a sense of confidence to really go forward, you know, into this event, because you know what, you can finish the deal. You can get things done. And starting out this morning, you know, in that Clarks Hill, I lost my hat at takeoff doing an interview on TV. Well, at takeoff today, I'm flying down the river as soon as I take off, and I lose my hat. And I can't tell you the thoughts that started running through my head. Matt Reed, I got into the locks, and Matt Reed handed me a Mercury hat and said, "Here you go," and he said, "Rent's going to be awful high on that one." So, going back to the baits, you know, I used a Lucky Strike 2 and a Gambler Ugly Otter. Those were my 2 key baits this whole event, and you know, switching up completely from when you get into the dirty water. I'd throw 50-pound Stren Sonic Braid, on a 7.4 All-Star rod with a Revo SX. And then when I got into the clear water, when I needed to slow down, I threw Stren brute strength 50-pound test with a Gambler Ugly Otter with a little, I guess it was about a 3/16 Gambler tungsten weight. So, you know, just changing it around and just, you know, changing everything up and, you know, following those instincts and doing what you think's going to do to catch the fish that you need to catch.
Yeah, he said SX. Why?
Chris, can you talk about what you believe was the main factor in your success this week?
Well, number one, equipment. The Red River has a tendency to tear a lot of things up, and we tore a lot of things up this event, and I did also. And those service crew guys out there, you know, they worked tirelessly to get everything on. So, you know, my equipment was instrumental, but I would have to say the willingness to win, the willingness to, you know, that when I caught that 611, you know, I know I should have given I might have given a shout out, I don't know, but I mean, I was pumped up, but I knew right then that, you know, you got to go right now. You know, it's time to catch him, it's time to finish this thing, and I think that the mindset, you know, going into that was a big factor. And doing the TV interviews back on Lay Lake when Kevin Van Dam won and watched him, you know, the intensity level that he got. He put a 5-pounder in there, he throws it in the well, and that's it. You know, he's back up there on the front desk, and that's what you got to do. You know, every single day you have to give it 110%, and if you don't, I'm telling you, these guys are going to beat you.